Hello and welcome to episode 44 of the TEW 2016 Challenge Run. We are booking the go-home show to Battleground, SmackDown and 205 Live. Let's jump straight into it. We start off with Finn Balor in the ring. And he's not his usual smiley self. He's very pissed off after he got assaulted by Drew McIntyre last week and the week before. And he calls out Drew McIntyre, and McIntyre would come out and stand on the stage. Balor would be in the ring, kind of promo, and Balor would demand that this ends at Battleground, and he demands a match with Drew McIntyre on one condition. McIntyre has to explain what his issue is with Finn Balor, and then McIntyre would take the mic. He'd go, "I accept your challenge for Battleground, Finn. I can't wait to kick your head off your shoulders. Do you want to know why? Because you're a fraud, Finn Balor. You walk around here claiming to be this good guy, this humble gentleman who gives the title opportunity to the people that beat him and comes out and praises his opponents when he loses the title. You say, everybody that ever beats me is the Intercontinental Champion. Oh, I'll give them a title shot because they've earned it. Then what about this?" And McIntyre would point to the Titantron, and it would show a video of... I honestly have no intention of or recollection of you ever remembering this happened, but it did happen. And if you want to go back and check, you will see it. I think it was on the Payback or Backlash, whatever it was. The week 4 of April, the go-home show to Backlash or Payback, whichever one was a SmackDown pay-per-view. It was Drew McIntyre teaming with Bobby Roode against Kevin Owens and Finn Balor, I believe. And McIntyre actually won that match, pinning Finn. And yes, that was done on purpose, and it's being brought up again here. And McIntyre, he says, "Well, where was my title shot, Balor? I scored a pinfall over you 1, 2, 3 in the centre of that ring, fair and square. Yet, humble and good guy Finn Balor, who gives everyone the opportunities, nothing for me. Maybe it's because you're scared of me, I don't know. But at Battleground, I'm going to make you regret not giving me the opportunities I deserve." We then get a tag team match with people that will be locking horns at Battleground. It's Luke Harper and Ricochet defeating Robert Roode and Rusev. It's a lot of R's. Ricochet, Robert Roode, Rusev. Ricochet scores the pinfall over the IC champion with a shooting star press. So Ricochet pins Robert Roode, but he's fighting Rusev at the pay-per-view for the Money in the Bank briefcase. And Luke Harper will now face a Robert Roode who's not going to be at 100% because he has been pinned by Mr. Money in the Bank. Big Show is in his office, and he explains what will be happening with the women here tonight. He says that the 4 women, he trusts that despite the fact that they all can't get along, they'll have to find and partner up between themselves for a tag team match later on tonight. So we'll see what sort of interesting pairings we get there. And he then is interrupted when Maurice and The Miz, who we've seen once since WrestleMania, come in. And Big Show's like, "Oh, Miz, how can I help you?" And he takes the sunglasses off and he's like, "I'm here to say my goodbyes, Show." And Big Show's like, "What? What do you mean goodbyes? You've literally not been here for months." And he says, "You see, Show, after the disrespect I received at WrestleMania, it took a blow to me after I got pinned by Aleister Black in 2 seconds. And I have a career path, so I've got Hollywood calling me. I don't need to be here, Show. I was only here for the goodness of SmackDown Live. But after seeing how I get treated, that goodwill is gone. and me and my lovely wife are taking ourselves full time to Hollywood. Au revoir. And Miz walks out. So that's interesting. We haven't seen Miz really at all in this whole save. He rocks up just to say goodbye. Carmella and Mandy Rose are in action against the Sky Pirates, and they actually lose by disqualification because Carmella gets disqualified because they're getting overwhelmed by Io and Kairi, and they feel that disqualification is the only way out. But once they get disqualified, they are now on the upper hand, of course, and they continue to beat down the Sky Pirates when Sasha and Bayley come out and make the save, send them packing, and then Sasha would grab a mic. She'd be like, well, look at this. Once they're not attacking people from behind and they're face to face with two of the greatest wrestlers in the women's division, look what happens to pretty little Carmella and pretty little Mandy. They can't hang. They get scared and they have to cheat their way out. You see, we didn't win these titles so we could sit on the sidelines like you do. We won them so we can defend them against any competition. And since you called us out, we've responded, and here we are now. And now you're too scared to face actual wrestlers like us, like Kairi saying Io Shirai. Listen, sweethearts. We just defended these titles against two bimbos over on Raw. And we'll be damned if we're going to let two blonde bimbos over here take them from us. See you at Battleground, sis. Razor and Lindsay Dorado in a singles match. And Razor gets the pinfall. Not much else to it. These two teams will go at it, I believe, on the kickoff show at Battleground to end this once and for all. Backstage, Alexa Bliss is seen sat in a chair in her locker room, lacing up her boots and putting her kick pads on because she got the news of the tag team match later on tonight. When in walks Charlotte Flair, much to Alexa's dismay. She's like, ugh, what do you want? And she's like, look, I know we've not seen eye to eye over the last few months, but a couple of weeks ago what I said was true. We are, since the brand split came back, since this new era of WWE, the two women with the women's championship reigns, you were Miss Monday Night Raw, I was Miss SmackDown Live, and we need to protect those spots, Alexa. So we need to put our differences aside tonight and team up to take down Asuka and Shayna Baszler. Maybe once that's happened, and once I win the...
I'm not sure.
Once I win the title at Battleground, maybe I'll give you the first shot. And Alexa's... no. You see, I'll team with you, I guess, because I guess Asuka and Shayna are already together. That's why you've come to me, because everything you've said about me has belittled me, so I know for a fact I'm your last choice. So I guess I'm stuck with you. But by no means are we friends, and it's every woman for herself at Battleground. Apollo Crews gets a 72 out of No Way Jose. Damn, this push for this guy is really going well, and especially because he's only at low to mid 50s right now. So if I can get him to 270 by SummerSlam, like the goal is, he'll actually be a very handy member of my roster. But yeah, just a quick match to get him a win. This isn't anything because this is just a recap segment of the entire feud between Daniel Bryan and Aleister Black so far, and how it all comes to an end this Sunday at Battleground inside Hell in a Cell. We then get the tag team match, and Asuka and Shayna, who have no chemistry apparently as tag team partners, they defeat Alexa and Charlotte It says botched interference, basically tag team misconduct between Alexa and Charlotte Flair, as you'd expect, because they have been at each other's throats since like the week after WrestleMania, which is actually a note in the next game. I saw they had updated so you can have tag team partners accidentally fuck each other over, which is another one of many, many great things they've added to that game, and I can't wait for it. And that'll definitely be... Control TEW will definitely be back in full force for TEW 2020. But because of the chemistry thing, Alexa actually outscored Asuka, which is interesting. But after the match, Alexa Bliss looks furiously at Charlotte Flair, who's like on the halfway up the ramp laughing at Alexa because she's a loser. And Alexa would not be happy. She'd storm out of the ring and actually chase Charlotte to the back, not getting her hands on her. But Echo went off again. Well, luckily, Bliss has now vanished to the back, so I won't ever have to say that word again. And Asuka's in the ring celebrating their win. She's dancing around and Shayna's looking behind her with evil intent. Asuka, oblivious to all this, continues to dance around after celebrating her win, when Shayna sneaks up on her, goes to lock her in the clutch, but Asuka was alert this whole time. She spins around and gets herself out of the clutch, and then when Shayna turns around to look at Asuka again, bang, she's kicked in the jaw with a spin kick and knocked out, and Asuka stands tall heading into Battleground. The main event, after this whole build-up towards Battleground, Kevin Owens finally teams with his good friends, the Snake Busters, to take on Randy Orton and the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, The Bar. And it is Randy Orton and The Bar who score the pin when Cesaro pins R-Truth, because R-Truth is getting a 35 because he's 47 years old. And the game, once you hit 47... you rot away and become a crepit old man like The Undertaker. Instead of, real life where R-Truth is probably in the best shape of his life. But hey-ho. I've also said that as well. Like, I know, again, I don't want to keep crowing on it because the game looks fantastic. But in the next TEW game, I think there should be like you can hit time decline, but occasionally older wrestlers will snap out of it and get into great shape, like if they've gone away for a while. Because like Rey Mysterio was obviously on time decline in like 2014-13, but he went away and now he's come back and he's completely, well, until recently, because he's been getting injured a fair bit recently. But like when he first came back in 2018, he was banging it out like he was 20 years younger. And R-Truth, of course, in real life, doing some of the best work of his career. But on the game, you're just going to keep... Because I hate it, because R-Truth, is doing great stuff in real life. But his stats aren't that good to start with in the game. And because he's 47, he will always be on decline. Like, with some people like AJ Styles and John Cena... it's like a coin toss. Sometimes they're on decline, sometimes they're not. But R-Truth, you'll always have him on decline, and it sucks because I always want to do stuff with him, but he's shite as he sits in the main event and gets a 35. And apparently can't call a match in the ring, despite, that being his whole purpose and his whole existence is to be the vet who can sort of lead younger guys to fine matches. Anyway, enough ranting. 83B. A fine show, I guess. And that's the end of SmackDown's build to Battleground. We've got one more show before the pay-per-views. That is some cruiserweights and some 205 pounds and some 205 Live. And we're here with 205 Live. Start off with just a power rankings match. Jack Gallagher beats Angelico because they're both on 1 point. So Jack Gallagher's now on 2 and Angelico is on 0. But Jack Gallagher has picked up an injury. Don't know how bad a slack jaw is, but that's what he's got. Mike and Maria back in the Hurricanes lair, hideout, HQ, whatever superhero term you'd call his office, and he'd be like, well, we're back, Hurricane, we're not on the show this week. And the Hurricane is like, what up with that? You can't demand, I'm sorry, Mike, but you can't be on the show every single week. But Mike's like, I'm the biggest star here. I voluntarily came here from Raw to be on 205 Live. And you're telling me there's no room for me? And the Hurricanes, well, we do have room on the roster for you, Mike, but you can't be on the show every single week. But I'll tell you what, you can have another match next week. And quite honestly, if you lose that match, you leave 205 Live. And Mike's like, what? The Hurricane, I'm new here, and as a superhero, it's my job to rid 205 Live of any villainy I see. And quite frankly, Mike, you're giving me those villainous vibes. So if you want to stick around, win next week. Sin Cara defeats Humberto Carrillo. 10-minute match. I don't think Humberto was on the board, but Sin Cara is now on 2 points. Here is the scoreboard, because the main event is technically not a scoreboard match. It would be if Noam Dar won it, but he loses. Sorry, spoiler. But here's the board. Gordon's still at the top on 3 points. He's got the title match at Backlash coming up this Saturday. And Tozawa, Sin Cara, and Gallagher are on 2. Young, Kanellis, and Buddy Murphy on 1. After the match, Humberto Carrillo and Angelico are backstage. They both lost this week. They're like, damn man, what's going on with us? And they both put each other over, saying, you're both really good, eventually we're both going to get there. It's just we're on a bit of a downward slack at the moment. But fear not, eventually we're both great, and greatness will always rise to the top and all that. So just a word of motivation between Angelico and Humberto Carrillo. Main event is Noam Dar and Flip Gordon. This is the winner would decide the stipulation for the match at Backlash between Flip Gordon and Tyler Bate, which Flip has won. After the match, he'd call out Paige and Tyler, who would stand on the entry ramp and listen to him, and he'd say that at Extreme Rules, it'll be Tyler Bate defending his championship against Flip Gordon in a ladder match. Very fitting for two cruiserweights to compete in a ladder match. But that is the end of 205 Live and the end to the build to Extreme Rules and to Battleground. And the next shows, 45 and 46, will be the pay-per-view extravaganzas themselves. And I'll see you then.